outside Port Elizabeth. Approaching the main entrance to the mushroom farm with the farm buildings up yonder. Side view of the growing rooms with all the air conditioned units. We have 7 growing rooms on this farm. This farm produces between 7.8 and 8.2 tons of mushrooms per week. View of the boiler producing 700 kPa. Compost yard. We're now busy with a pre-wet, horse manure, synthetic. View of the 2 piles already formed. Synthetic straw, which we just add water to and mix 50-50% with the horse manure in the pre-wet stage. Rear view of the farm, the soil sterilizer, boiler room, the cookout room, and the 2 spawn runs. The compost turner, and the piles of compost. Compost just formed up this morning, 1 pile 23 meters long, with the chicken manure on top. View of the 2 spawn runs, 1 and 2. Next to that, the kill or cookout room. View of the avenue between the growing rooms. We have 7 growing rooms with a 7-week cycle each. Interior of one of the growing rooms. We're emptying the room today. Emptying all the trays, spent compost being sold to the public. This is the control box where we check the humidity in each room. We've recently required a CO2 controller, which is still being installed and connected at the present time. View of one of the growing trays in one of the rooms with second break or second flush coming up now. Put the torch at me. Notice the ducts, the air ducts, with air going through the bottom 1 meter apart, holes 1 meter apart and across to increase the airflow. The rooms are all insulated, new ceilings in. On Peter Mazel's recent trip to Holland, at the horse training school last year, 1993, we installed an air duct in the center and two on the sides, and this has worked pretty well. There you can see the air duct on the side with quite good results. It's mycelium growing through the trays. Loading spent compost on one of the nursery trucks, 3 nurseries. Our forklift driver, very confident. All our trays, every single tray gets washed after tipping, and after that it gets cooked. We give a double cook on each set of trays. Another view at the back of our growing rooms with the air conditioned unit. Of straw neatly stacked, with which we make the synthetic firewood here in the foreground. Bales of straw neatly stacked, which we use to make our synthetic straw, which is here in the foreground. Compost yard again, compost turner turning the third turn of the older pile, close up view of it. There's enough water added, doesn't need any water, looking very good. Forming up the compost. Is 50% synthetic and 50% horse manure. Another view of the form-up. Tray line used at filling, it's scaled in the foreground. There we have the press. It presses the compost flat before it goes into the cookout room. The view of the turner, out the steam coming out the top from the heat of the compost. Our peat, which is a mixture of Canadian peat and South African peat, left over from the last fill. Pretty wet out here. It's been raining heavily for the last few weeks. A view of the compost turner and the cabby forming up a new pile. So one of the rides just been completed. Form 2 piles every Monday. Side view of the farm. Notice the lawns, immaculately kept, clean. Maybe with a mushroom chog, which we'll throw away at the end of the day. This is our spawn and casing tray line, with a de-stacker at this end, going along the rollers, with scale. Every tray gets weighed through to the press, and the stacker at the end. Our casing operation, which gets done every Tuesday. Leveling off the casing soil. To give us the correct depth. In the pack house, wrapping and punishing the mushrooms for the daily dispatch schedule. The order is ready to go out. A couple of mushrooms waiting to be packed. Complete pack house. Big fridge in that corner. And the other fridge on that side. Our large brown mushrooms. Here we have our spawning operation. We spawn every Wednesday. Down the tray line. Each tray gets weighed. Now weighing at 450 pounds. nicely stacked. The air duct upstairs. The room is highly insulated. Forklift driver taking the trays in the spawn run. Water container, we spray the mushroom in the room with chlorinated tablets in the foreground to prevent bacterial blot. Our large brown mushrooms. This is our filling operation, done every Thursday morning. It's a lovely warm day today, 26 degrees. Compost looks good today. Again gets weighed, leveled off, and through the press. Trays ready to go into the cookout room for sterilizing phase 2. Now stacking machine, let's see a stacker. Taxi there. The music all day long, speakers projecting through the ceiling. My little bed I sleep on at night in the room. Wardrobe, little desk, what have you. Wash basin, lights, all plugs, very neat and tidy. Mechanical harvesting in the room. Growing school, training center. Air duct, same room. A room of the view of the room, the training center. There'll be a demonstration there. She's teaching us this afternoon on the scheduling of mushrooms.
The problem is we have a special program for put everything in about the picking labor, yeah? But you can't couple it with the climate installation.
Altogether there's 12 growing rooms in the training center. Very clean, immaculately kept. Room number 6. First flush hand picking. A view of the mushroom rooms. hand-picked.
In all the rooms we have yellow trees. Just that you know, yeah, we have guys looking at
all the organic
Air ducts in this room. Now air ducts in the center. Two on the side. This is the center view of the room. Second flush pending for mechanical harvesting.
But it needs water now because else.
So yesterday you could use it today.
I know how come
CO2 machine.
Not more than that. And for example, steel they can fill about 200 tons.
You put in fresh compost here. You put or no?
Then you take it out, forward, and put it in another cellar.
Oh, you have some of that. You have some both.
Yeah, and the other three there's from about so we're not allowed to put ammonia in here. Now when you heat the compost, you get a lot of ammonia in it. So that's why we use an air washer. It's this thing. This is air washing. So we can wash the air. We can take the ammonia, the NH3, out of the air. So over there, the air is coming out. Normally it goes in the air, but now it's only to bring it. There are sprayers with water and an acid. And we spray up there are sprayers and the air is coming through that. And the ammonia and the acid, they react. Then you get an ammonia salt and the water of the air that is coming out here, there, it's clean. It's about 99% clean. There's only a little ammonia in it.
What is this here?
That's the steam and the camera for there that you have to keep out.
Compost just arrived from one of the compost factories. Tuesday morning now, and they're busy putting his compost into a tunnel. From Ireland holding the compost, inspecting the compost. Background left is Luke Kruger from South Africa, from Middelburg in South Africa. And our teacher for today, John something or other, Dutchman. Conveyor system. No wonder these Dutchmen have no labour. Everything is automated here. newborn run, 6 days old, covered with newspaper without the print to trap the CO2 and have the mycelium grow much faster. Closer look, day 6. We're now at Hewen Brothers compost yard and tunneling yard. They produce 11,000 tons of compost per week for all the Dutch farmers. Old man Jan Hewen is talking to the crowd here. He's been in this business 32 years. He's retired many years back, but he still works every day. His brother died last year. One of the compost lorries being loaded mechanically for one of the farms. Just another general view of the vast compost yard they have here. Compost turner there in the background, forming up. There's massive front-end loaders. Loading the bin along the conveyor into the lorry. Compare size of compost. Jan is about my height, and the compost pile is actually dwarfing him.
Not much faster you are.
Part of the mixing line, where they mix the gypsum, whatever, chicken manure, whatever in there, mixing it well and forming a pile, and from here to be formed up. And in the background you can see a front-end loader take it out around the back, and they're busy forming up a pile on the other side. Here's a former behind us, one of the formers. Bloke sits in there on top, works with diesel. Coming like a crane driver. One of the trucks coming in with synthetic straw. Truck busy spraying one of the piles in the background. Activity going on here. So you can actually get lost in this section of the truck unloading a load of straw. Mr. Jan van Steven, one of the brothers, the owners of this compost and tunneling yard, part of the team. This mixes approximately 200 tons of compost in 1 hour. Notice the size of the bales. They're very large compared to ours. Gypsum store, all under roof. Chicken manure, or as the Dutch would say, poultry manure. Another view of the mixing line. Busy loosening up a big round bale. There's the tank, storage tank for the slurry water. They only use slurry water in their pre-mix, pre-wet, and from day naught form up, they only use fresh water. It's time now, we've just finished lunch and we're spending the whole afternoon at this compost yard. Slurry water being pumped through at the rate of 150 cubic meters an hour. Another view of the compost yard. Turn in the background. Another view of the mixing line. They give 7 waters from start to finish. There's chicken manure, horse manure, gypsum upstairs. At the moment they have a breakdown. One of the large conveyor chains at the bottom there is just broken. I believe they have to replace these every 18 months to 2 years. Just started up again. Managed to just repair it temporarily. See one of the sprayers. One of the 7 sprayers. Sprayer up there, the final spray. And when it's stripped on that side, it's completely mixed. Everything is in. The Dutch do not add chicken manure on day one form up. Everything is put in beforehand. From the mixing plant, I'll just pan across. It gets transported to here, which they call the flat piles. It gets flipped with a big massive front end loader and it gets watered a few times. It stays here for 3 days in total, including flipping, and from here they form up. One of the piles, as soon as the trucks return, carry on loading the lorries with ready compost to be delivered to the mushroom farms in Holland. Closer view of the compost. One thing I have noticed, we at Chelsea Mushrooms make our compost far too wet. To me this is too dry. To them it's 100%. For Peter Mazel's information, I think there's more clods of horse manure and chicken manure in this compost than what we have at Chelsea. So Peter, don't worry about it. There's a lot of clumps of horse manure and chicken manure in the compost, and believe me, there's plenty. This is their phase 2, where they heat lead the composting tunnels. A lot of it goes to Belgium, not very far from here. Watering one of the piles of compost. Slurry water being sprayed on the flat pile. Brown slurry water. The ammonium washing room where they extract ammonia from the compost after it's been heated. The Dutch aren't allowed to release ammonia in the atmosphere. Typical Dutch house. This is a mushroom farm called Olden. They have a very, very coarse casing mixture. Much coarser than ours. Air ducts with your holes very, very close to each other, 30 centimeters apart. The exhaust fan high up near the roof. This is just before pinning. One room. Notice a few pieces of stroma in the center there. A little bit of stroma over there. If I can focus it. Got a lovely mycelium run. Plus, a lot of trims coming up. I would have thought that he flushed this room far too late, but there's quite a bit of overlay. See a couple of pinheads coming through.
We lowered the temperature till 13.5 degrees, and we raised the CO2 till over 3,000, so that the compost temperature would go down. The mushrooms won't grow, just grow very slowly, but by taking temperature down, more fins are created. So we took the CO2 higher, that the new fins become, that they then grow.
This is the third flush. One of the rooms. Mushrooms are very clean. All the shelf system in this farm. They do no mechanical harvesting whatsoever. They only hand pick. They have 10 pickers. They pick about 5 to 6 tons a week. Note the bottom 2 shelves are closed with plastic on the side to prevent the air duct on top from blowing too much wind onto the mushroom. A close-up of one of the beds. The quality of the mushroom is very nice, very clean. I haven't seen any bacterial blotch on any of the farms. CO2 meter in operation. Computerized war unit. The radio is playing in the room, all in Dutch. There's the radio. Hi-fi.
Hier zijn ze wel beter.
Ja. How much is it? How much is it?
You know when you buy it, but the film and the dial should also you can buy it.
More
better. Mushroom grow is in Holland, so it's country.
No, this is much cheaper. How much does
These mushrooms are all destined for England. Leaving for England this afternoon. Yeah. Take it there, Ron. Show us a nice one there, man. That's it. Give us a closey there.
Top quality.
You reckon?
Yeah.
You haven't seen better?
3.4 gilden.
Right. The computer. All the rooms are computerized.
We're not in the UK until Saturday.
Tonight, this evening, the packet.
Yeah.
And then this.
Temperature being recorded in one of the rooms, 23.1, 23.2. That's better.
Kingsmith standing with the computer. Look at England.
See the red light? Now record. Okay.
Yeah.
The lady climbing up is going to pick some mushrooms in one of the rooms.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, the participants have to pick next Friday.
Well, we'll pick next Friday.
So then we make some good shots of...
This man's about 3 inches taller than me. Must be a good 6'7". A view of the Olden mushroom farm, which we have just taken a few photographs of. There's the growing room, typical Dutch style house. Note they have no hangover gutters for the snow. Approaching the winter, autumn around the 23rd of September. Nice little gardens. The Dutch keep their gardens and their properties very, very clean. And a little house across the road there. Not a little, but it's double story. That's our bus. We've been traveling to and fro from the research center to the hostel every morning and night. They've given us the keys, and of course there's 10 of us on the course. We've made use of this bus. This is a compost the team prepared last Wednesday. We prepared this particular pile, and we're going to turn it now by hand and see what happens. There's a man ready to start turning. There's Una and Mr. Barbadi there with a fork. Let's do some work, please. You can't stand all day with your hands in my pockets, eh? That's the horse manure pile over there. It's already very warm. And this is the synthetic pile over here. It shrunk a bit. Busy turning the pile a second time now by hand, forming a little pile of compost this side. My colleagues here doing all the work while I'm supervising.
This is not the way we make compost now.
Are you sure? Yes, Paddy is very, very busy.
Not the way we set hands.
And you think it needs water, you have to water it, huh?
Yeah, we'll give it some water now.
You take as careful like you did it last Wednesday, eh? Yep.
Slurry water.
When you use slurry water, the process is quicker, eh?
Second team on the other side, busy that side there, they got a horse manure. That's easier. Chinaman and the Israeli. And the Egyptian.
No?
How's that for a League of Nations?
Huh?
And the Zulu goal. From South Africa. There's the Zulu goal in the middle, her name is Una.
No. Looks okay.
No, you can't look at it, you have to feel it. So you have to be sure that you make a good stack, eh? How is the moisture content?
Very dry.
Yeah. Then you have to water. Feel it? And also mixing, eh? You have to mix very carefully. You must be sure that you make a homogeneous product. You have to feel the water content, and you have to put water in now, because when your stack is ready, it's very difficult to water your compost.
It's good. Speak on this for us.